Okay, let's talk graphs of trig functions. First thing you need to know, all trig functions are periodic, meaning that they have a certain pattern that repeats periodically or on a period or cycle. Now, the sine, cosine, cosecant, and secant all have a natural period of 2 pi, meaning if they're not transformed or changed in any way, the period is 2 pi. Tangent and cotangent have a natural period of pi. So, let me show you what these ones look like. The sine graph, I remember it because it looks like an S wave, S for sine. And it always goes like this, and then like that. Up to 1, down to -1. That's the S pattern, and then it's periodic, so that pattern repeats itself. That's your sine. Cosine is similar, but it's cosine, so it has more of a C shape. So it starts up at 1, and then goes down, and then back up. That's C pattern. And it's also periodic, so it's that C pattern repeated over and over. Kind of like that. There we go. Now, cosecant and secant are related to sine and cosine. So to graph these ones, you'll actually look at the graph of their counterpart. So with cosecant, I'm going to copy the graph of sine as a dotted line. Sorry about that, guys. Let me turn that volume down so it's not making lots of noises. Okay, then I repeat it. Okay. Now, the cosecant graph, anytime sine has a hump, it has a parabola. And then there are asymptotes between each parabola. That's your cosecant. You can do the same thing with secant. Copy your cosine graph, because secant's related to cosine. And then anywhere it has a hump, secant has a parabola. And asymptotes in between. And that's the graph of your secant. And tangent is fairly different graph than sine and cosine. First off, it has a natural period of pi. In fact, tangent is centered over the y-axis instead of shifted over like the sine and cosines were. And it has asymptotes on either side. Then it has this hourglass shape to it. And that hourglass shape repeats itself. So it's still periodic, it's just a different shape for that pattern or period. Cotangent looks very similar. Same asymptotes. Except this one is decreasing. So the way you can tell the difference, if you read these graphs like a book from left to right, This one, tangent, is increasing from left to right. Cotangent is decreasing from left to right. So think of it like a book. Those are your basic trig graphs. In the next video, we'll talk about transforming those graphs.